Thank you guys so much for joining us today. With Christmas just around the corner, there's going to be a lot of different opportunities that we can donate and help people in our area and in our community. So we get to talk about how we can be safe in that, and so that we can donate and make sure that our money is getting to the people who actually need it. Let's get into it. My name is Andrew Nelson. I'm a public information specialist here at the South Carolina Department of Consumer Affairs, and I'm going to be presenting this topic for you guys today. Let's look at some of these charity scams. So, what is a charity scam? So, this is going to be someone that contacts you by asking, and they're going to be asking for donations. It's going to sound like they are a group that you have heard of. It seems to be real and you want to help. Oftentimes, these are going to be a form of imposter scams. The scammer is going to pretend to be a specific charity. Now, in some instances, there is going to be a scammer that's going to have a very similar name to a larger, a more well-known organization, and they're going to try to use that to hook you into interacting with their websites or giving them donations. Some of these fake charity scams may look like this one. This is a news article that we pulled, and this looks like it's from 2012. But people are pretending to be Salvation Army ringers, and they're going to be in person, and the money that they end up collecting wherever they set up shop, they're going to end up keeping for themselves and not actually going to the Salvation Army. And so you're going to want to be looking out for things like that. And while in this case it's kind of an in-person scam, it's also worth keeping in mind that phone calls, emails, and social media posts can also be used to contact you about some fake charity, and they're going to be pretending to be those well-known names. In this instance, last year, during after Hurricane Helene, there were people who were posing as charity organizations who were earning money so that they could help victims of the hurricane. And so, in this instance, you think to yourself, well, I would really like to help these victims, especially during the holidays. And so these scammers realize, oh, this is the time of year to do it as well. So they will set up fake opportunities for you to donate to them. And so we can see some headlines here talking about how the holiday scams were targeting those Helene victims. And then also there are some charity scams that people were warning you to avoid. In this situation, there may be firefighter, police, or military charity scams. And in this instance, somebody is spoofing a police officer's email address. So, spoofing, we've talked about this in prior webinars, but spoofing is basically where a scammer will mask the way that they are contacting you so that you can't see the actual email address that it's coming to, but it'll show whatever they want it to show. And so in this instance, they're pretending to be the South Carolina Sheriff's Association. And they're notifying you that they are conducting a fundraiser to help homeless children. And they're looking for some financial support by donating to their cause. And they said that you can donate with Pen Pal, Zelle, Cash App, and different things like that. So that's another instance of a fake charity scheme. Here's another one, local tragedy fundraisers. There are some instances, like in this one right here, where there is a local family who may have a sick child or an individual who is going through cancer treatment or something like that, and somebody is trying to raise money for hospital bills or just providing things for that family, and they may put up posters or social media posts or different things like that. But it's important to understand that not all solicitations on on social media or crowdfunding websites are legitimate. Scammers can set up a crowdfunding GoFundMe page just as easily as you can. And so it's important to make sure that you are aware that not everything that you see is actually legitimate. And so we're going to look at some red flags of these charity scams so that we can identify which are the real ones so that we can actually do good in our community, and then be able to recognize the scams so that we aren't giving our hard-earned money to somebody who doesn't need it. So our first red flag, scammers are going to pretend to use well-known names of charities. We talked about that a little bit earlier, but scammers will use names that sound a lot like the names of a well-known charity in order to trick you into donating. These fake charity promoters will use emails asking for donations, or they will spoof their caller ID to make it look like they're from the real charity on the phone. And so with this scam, they may even have a name that seems very similar to one, say Goodwill or the Salvation Army, and they may change the name just a little bit in order to confuse people who may be looking to donate. And when you're donating to these charities, make sure that you figure out one that you know and trust, and watch out for names that only look like the real charities. And you're going to want to make sure that you do your research to make sure that it's legitimate. Another one is the type of payments that they're looking for in order to get donations. If someone wants you to donate with cash, gift card, cryptocurrency, wire transfers, it's best to not do that because that's usually how scammers are going to ask you to pay. Don't donate to anyone who insists that you pay with cash, gift card, wiring money, or cryptocurrency because those methods are difficult to track, and those are the payments that scammers love. If you do decide to donate to a charity, make sure that you pay with a credit card because that gives you just a lot more consumer protection options. Because if you pay with a debit card, then a scammer ends up taking a bunch of money, then that money isn't going to be able to be recovered as easily. But if it's on a credit card account, they would be able to cancel that without too much trouble. And always record all donations that you make, and make sure that you review those statements carefully on a regular basis. Next one, scammers like to use emails in order to request donations. If you receive an email requesting donations, make sure that you don't click on any of the links or open any of the attachments or download anything, because this could result in malware being installed on your device, or the scammer may use it to steal personal information from your device. So you're going to want to make sure that you confirm numbers before donating, and donate using contact information that you know is real. Try to go to a well-known charity's website and find your information there. And as you're signing up to donate and you're going through that process, make sure that you don't provide any more personal information than you need to, and especially in response to an email, phone call, or text message. If they're asking for sensitive information, then that's probably a good sign that they're a scammer. So you're going to want to look out for that. And most charities' websites, addresses are going to have .org instead of .com in their website address. And so if a charity organization and you go to their website and they're not using .org, but they're using something else, you may want to do a little bit more digging to make sure that is the actual website. The next one, scammers like to use crowdfunding websites. They also like to use social media as a fundraiser. Oftentimes, it's not possible to verify a crowdfunding campaign in order to know that it's real or where the funds are going. Um, it is safest to try to donate to a registered and vetted charity organization. I was doing a little bit of reading before the webinar, and when it comes to crowdfunding, when donations are made to that crowdfunding or GoFundMe page, the money is all going to be going to the organizer of the charity. And so then the organizer can do whatever they want with that money. Usually, if it's a legitimate one, they're going to be giving that money to the person that you're raising the money for, the family in need, the organization, different things like that. And so when it comes to crowdfunding or GoFundMe page, different things like that, if you really want to help out in these situations, it's best to try to find the person who is organizing it in the first place. Whether that's asking friends or family members who may know the people who you're raising money for, and then trying to figure out who actually is managing that account. Because once you figure that out, then it's a little bit easier to be directed to the correct crowdfunding page. And so it's great to make sure that you research those things. Another one, if a donation is not tax deductible, that should be a red flag for you. If a group can't provide you proof, such as a receipt or a letter that your donation is tax deductible, this is a good likelihood that it's a scam. But it's important to remember that when you give money to a crowdfunding site as a gift, this gift usually isn't something that you can list as a tax deduction based on the recipient, because that recipient is not a registered charity organization. And so this means that if you do donate through crowdfunding, then this red flag isn't going to always apply, because if they're funding for a private individual and the organizer is private, then they're probably not a registered charity, so therefore you're not going to get that tax deduction. So those are a couple flags that can kind of help you notice if a charity is a scam or not. You're going to be wanting to look out for those well-known names. You're going to want to look out for crowdfunding websites. Look at the payment options that they are promoting. If it's going to be like something like cryptocurrency or prepaid gift cards, that should be a warning to you. And then this donations not being tax deductible. If you are donating to a legitimate charity, then they're going to have proof of deductibility for those donations. Now, there are so many different ways that a scammer can contact you with these different types of charity scams. And it's important to keep an open mind about the scammers and identity thieves, because no matter the method, the ultimate goal is to get your money and to get your personal information. Now, a key note on this is that every scam, it doesn't always lead to identity theft. It may just be loss of finances, and they may not be stealing your identity. But oftentimes, when it comes to identity theft, they're also often are going to be getting that money from it. So it's important to make sure that you're watching out for the ways that a scammer is contacting you. So we just talked about some specific red flags to charity scams, and I just want to cover our general red flags for those scams as well, because with the holidays coming around, you really want to be alert for the different things that are going on out there, because I would spend way too much time telling you every scam that is out there. But if I can just give you these 4 red flags, then that can help you avoid scams and recognize them. So our first one, scammers pretend to be somebody that you know or recognize. Like we talked about with charity scams, they are going to try to adopt the name of a very well-known charity in order to get you to trust them. Or the scammer is going to try to use spoofing in order to make it look like you're getting a phone call from that specific charity. Next, scammers are going to say that there's a problem or a prize. There have been charity scams where the charity guarantees a sweepstakes winning in exchange for a donation. Not only is this a scam, but this is also illegal. And so they're going to say that there's some sort of prize or benefit that's attached to some sort of donation. So that should be a flag to a scam. Scammers are going to try to pressure you into acting immediately. These scammers want you to act before you have time to think about it or do any sort of research. So make sure that you don't let anyone rush you into making a donation. That's exactly something that a scammer would do. If a legitimate fundraiser tries to contact you, they're going to try to make it as easy and as comfortable as they can to help you donate if it's something legitimate. But scammers are really going to try to pressure you to act immediately before you figure out that it's actually a scam and avoid it. Next, scammers will tell you to pay in a specific form of payment. These include cash, wire transfers, prepaid gift cards and debit cards, cryptocurrency, wire transfer services, payment apps, different things like that. And you're going to want to be careful about the way that you're donating to them. To be on the safe side, try to pay by credit card, just because of those consumer protection options that we talked about, or even a check. But with checks, you have to be aware of check washing as well. Check washing is where a scammer can take a chemical and they can use it to erase the ink on your check in order to write in their own amount into that check. And so if you do pay with check, make sure that you have verification that it's been received from the charity. And then also make sure that you're checking your bank account for when that check actually goes through. Make sure that the amount is correct and the name is correct once it actually goes through. Because if it is a scammer, you're going to have a larger charge coming out of your account. So those are just some things that we can be looking at in general when it comes to scam. But now let's look at some great tools that you can use to protect yourself and your personal information. Firstly, try to do your research. Before donating to different charities, try to visit the South Carolina Secretary of State's website to see if a charity has been registered. And there's a phone number that you can look at in order to check that list. And when you go into this charity search engine, you're going to be able to learn a charity's total revenue, their program expenses, their costs for fundraisers, as well as a percentage of the total expenses that the charity has spent on those services. And so that can be a really great tool that you can use in order to just search up a charity that may reach out to you. That way you can see, are they legitimate? Do they have things going through like that? Next, you can also check out this list that has recently been put out by the governor's office. And this is the 12 Angel Charities of 2025. And this list is a list of charities that have a high percentage of their funds that actually go to their program services. And so this is a great place to start if you're looking to donate to somebody. Then this can be a good list for you to choose and find out some of the worthy charities to donate to. And then also you can visit our website for additional resources and scam prevention tips. You can go to our website and then go to our education section, and there are going to be a bunch of articles and flyers in there that you can learn more about different scams. And then when it comes to looking at charities, a good way to see if a charity is a scam or not, to do some more research, is to take the charity's name and then search it while including the words scam or complaint. Then you can see if anything pops up with reviews or maybe other people who have fallen for this or have been aware of those scams will be able to warn you of those things. And then you're really going to want to research in order to know where your money is going and how it's going to be used. You have the right, if you're going to donate, to ask the charity what they're going to be using your money for and where exactly it's going to be, where it's actually going to be going. And then one simple thing is don't give out more personal information than you need to. If you're donating, you're not going to need to be giving out sensitive information. They're just really going to need just your name and maybe an address to send you an email to send you a receipt, but they're not going to be needing account information or anything like that. Checking your credit report is another great way that you can help protect yourself and your personal information. We suggest that you check your credit report at least once a year. You can check this for free every week if you would like to. But this report doesn't contain a credit score, and it's not going to hurt your score if you check it. But this is going to be a history of all of the accounts that you've opened up in your name. And so you're going to be wanting to make sure that your name is spelled correctly, both your current name and your maiden name. If you have one, make sure both of those are spelled correctly. Make sure that addresses are correct, both current and past addresses. You're going to want to make sure that the accounts on it are things that you recognize that you've actually opened up. Because if you do find an account that you don't recognize, that may be because a scammer has stolen your identity and has opened up a credit account in your name. And so being able to check your report can flag those things for you so that you can do the appropriate steps, freezing accounts, and take action on that. And so we suggest that you go to annualcreditreport.com. This is where you can get that credit report for free. Some other places may charge you to look at your credit report, but this website is free, and it's also authorized by federal government. So this is a great place for you to check your credit report. Next, you can put a fraud alert onto your account if you have been a victim of identity theft. First, you can put a temporary fraud alert on your account. This lasts 1 year and then it expires. And you can add one to your credit report at any time for any reason, and you can renew it as many times as you would like. Now, you can also extend a fraud victim alert. This is an extended alert that lasts 7 years and is designed for victims of credit fraud or identity theft. In order to get this extended alert, you're going to have to submit a copy of your identity theft report that you have filed with law enforcement. So that's a little bit more intensive with that. But with that 1 year fraud alert, it's free to place. All you have to do is call one of the 3 credit bureaus. That's TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, and they can put that fraud alert onto your account. And these things just make alert businesses to be a little bit more careful about who they let look at your credit report and who they let access it. Next, you can put a security freeze onto your account. Now, your security freeze is something that's called a credit freeze, and this prevents you or others from opening up new accounts in your name. And it lasts as long as you would like it on. You can, as long as you want it until you want to lift it. And this makes it so that only certain people can see your file when the freeze is in place. These people include yourself, creditors for current accounts that you have, some government agencies such as child support agencies, and companies that you may pay to monitor your credit files. Now, this is free to place, and it's also free to thaw. Thaw is a temporary removal of the freeze, and you can request this via email, telephone, or mail, and it can be for a specific amount of time. So you can ask them to open it for at least a year, or excuse me, at least a month or a week or something like that. Then you can do your business. You can, if you're changing residency or you're opening up a new line of credit, you'll need a thaw it for that. And the credit reporting agency must thaw it within 1 hour if the thaw is reported by telephone or email request, or in 3 business days if it's sent by mail. Now, you can also lift this if you want it taken completely off your credit report. And you can request this via email, telephone, etc. And the same thing applies to this one. An hour, it has to be lifted within an hour of a telephone or email request, and it must be lifted within 3 business days if requested by mail. And so this just is a great way that you can protect your credit report if you're not using it right now. This is just a really helpful tool. And this one is a little bit more intensive to set up. You have to contact each of the 3 credit bureaus. So that's TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. And you have to go through a verification process with them in order for that freeze to go in place. But once it's on, it's on there as long as you'd like. Now, if you or a loved one has been a victim of identity theft, please feel free to call our agency. You can call us at 800-922-1594. And you can also go to our website at consumer.se.gov. And if you're in an identity theft situation, please contact our identity theft unit for one-on-one assistance. And you can even fill out an ID theft intake form by visiting our website and clicking on that How Do I button, and then report identity theft. So this can be a great place for you to help mitigate the effects of identity theft on you. All right. Well, that's wrapping up that portion of our presentation. If you have any questions, now would be a great time to put them in our Q&A box, not the chat box, but the Q&A box. So I'll give you a little bit of time to put that in there while I share some of our resources. So if you have any questions on your mind, please go ahead and throw that in that chat box or in that Q&A box. For more updates and information throughout the season, make sure that you follow us on our social media platforms. We have great content that gets put up there, and we post a bunch of our webinars onto our YouTube channel. So that can be another great place for you to learn more about topics you may be interested in. We also have a bunch of free brochures that you can request. If you would like to give these out to people that you work with, family, friends, clients, whatever it is, you can request up to 50 at a time, and we would love to send those out to you free of charge. And you can just go to our website, and there will be a place there for you to request those brochures. We also have our last shred event of the year coming up. That's going to happen on Wednesday, December 10th. That's going to be at 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. right here at our Columbia office. And that's going to be 293 Greystone Boulevard. So I'll leave that up there if you want to write down that address, or you can just look us up online. But this year we're also partnering with Harvest Hope for the 3rd year. And we're going to be doing a food bank at the same time. So you can bring your paper to shred. We take 3 bags or 3 banker boxes of paper to shred. And you can also bring food items to donate to the food bank. We also take cash donations. But if you're wondering what type of stuff the food bank is looking for, you can go to our website, look under news, and then under shred events. And there is a PDF there of the different things that the food bank is looking for. And then our upcoming webinars. We would love to have you guys back for more of our webinars in December. We're going to have it on the 3rd, the 10th, and the 17th. And there's going to be some great topics there. And so if you go to our PDF that we have dropped in the chat box and download that, then you'll be able to click on those links, and that'll bring you right to the registration page. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. I'm so glad that you decided to take some time off before the holiday to learn a little bit more about these scams. And I hope that you all have a a wonderful, relaxing, and safe holiday and enjoy time with family and friends. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next week.